It is so hard for me to tell when this damn camera is turned on or not. There's so many problems with the production in the videos that I can't even name them all. First of all, I turned that goddamn camera on, and it doesn't even let me know that it's running 90% of the time. It's hard to film videos when you're working with substandard equipment. If you don't know, I'm going to review these two books right now. I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. And I'm going to be reviewing Dark Tide, Onslaught, and Wherein. These are books number 2 and 3 in the what the hell is it? Well, the New Jedi Order. Yeah, the New Jedi Order. That's the series I'm currently reading in these Star Wars Legends. You know, the Star Wars Legends books, they are my guilty pleasure reads. I love them. I got like 80 of them upstairs in my library if you saw my book tour video. I would have brought some of them down to show you here, but I just... It's a long hike up the stairs, people. Let's just put it that way. Onslaught, Wherein, The Dark Tide, Star Wars Legends. I keep forgetting the name of the series. The New Jedi Order. That's right, the New Jedi Order. These books, I'm telling you, the New Jedi Order, I'm impressed with these things. First of all, let's talk about the covers. You know, we always talk about the packaging and the covers in every review because I love graphic design, I love illustration. These covers are magnificent. They are spectacular. You know, up until this point, up until the New Jedi Order series, all the Star Wars novelizations were illustrated by Drew Struzan, the great movie cover illustrator, the movie poster illustrator. And then when the New Jedi Order came out, they changed illustrators and just started hiring random different people to do illustrations. And they knocked it out of the park with these two books. I love these two illustrations done by John Harris. He's still to this day doing spectacular science fiction covers for a lot of the publishers. So this book, Dark Tide, it's supposed to really be one book. They split it in half because it was a big book. Made 2 books out of it, written by Michael Stackpole, one of the great Star Wars Legends writers. And I think these 2 books, books 2 and 3 in the New Jedi Order series, oh man, I loved them. I absolutely loved them. It's been a while since I've read these, and I can't remember liking them as much the first time I read them as the second time I read them, and I'm trying to figure out why do I love this series so much more now than when I read it the first time. And I think it's because when I read it the first time, the only Star Wars movies that I had to view visually were Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And possibly The Phantom Menace had come out by the time these came out. And so, Star Wars to me, I mean, this really felt like Star Wars to me, and I think I was a little disappointed with the last couple of movies. And so I've kind of given up on a whole Star Wars thing, although The Mandalorian is great. Let's bow to the Baby Yoda and Mando, because they're awesome. Let's be frank though, some of the other stuff that Disney has put out has been kind of iffy. That Rogue One was cool. The Force Awakens was all right. I liked the Han Solo movie. The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I'm not going to say anything. I love these books because I think they're the opposite of everything that I disliked in the other 2 movies that aforementioned movies that I just mentioned. If that makes sense, these things are what Star Wars needs to be. This New Jedi Order series is dark It's got emotion and feeling and the most wicked, badass villains in the Star Wars universe. And that's the Yushin Vong, who are these they hate technology. They're sort of like one with their spaceships. They're like hooked into their spaceships like organically. And they're like these shapeshifters, so they can walk amongst you, walk amongst the human, but they're outsiders. They've come into the Star Wars universe through this portal called the Vector Prime, and now they are starting to overtake the Star Wars galaxy. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, it's a galaxy from a long time ago, far, far away. So it's no relation to our own galaxy that we know of yet. But here's the thing: the Yushin Vong are just evil, creepy, Stephen King type horror novel villains. And I think that fits in perfectly with Star Wars. And I love it. I love it. And these reviews are not I do spoilers in this. So spoiler alerts from here on out. Because this series is 19 books long. A lot of stuff happens in it. And you can't talk about any of the books without spoiling the previous books. So we might as well spoil these books too. But in the previous book, Vector Prime, we know that the big climactic moment was the death of Chewbacca. And oh my gosh, the way that Michael Stackpole writes the reaction to Chewbacca's death, that's the way the characters should have reacted to Han Solo's death in the last movies we got. But it was just glossed over in the movies, and no one really reacted to any of it to any great extent. But in these books, the emotional stakes are so high, and he writes those scenes where people find out that Chewbacca's dead, and people feel guilty for maybe making mistakes that led to his death, and it just permeates these entire two books. And if I remember correctly, in the next two books, Han Solo goes off the deep end, and we'll get into those when I review those, but Han Solo really goes off the deep end with Chewbacca's death. And he's starting to go off the deep end in these books, but man, you can see he's turning into it. He's going into some dark places, Han Solo. And that's what Star Wars needs. It needs an emotional punch. And a lot of the characters in this book are just awesome. From Luke and Leia, R2, 3PO, Han Solo and Leia's kids, Jason and Gianna, and then of course Anakin, and then we've got Mara Jade, and then we've got the cool Gavin Darklighter and Corran Horn, the Starfighter, and there's just so many great characters that are in these books, and their relationships, and they're dealing with the Yushin Vong, these horror monster creatures, worse than Alien, worse than the Predator, just the worst Star Wars, the worst space villains of all time. I just love the Yushin Vong. I know a lot of people kind of didn't. I don't know why, but teach his own. I just love these books, and I specifically and especially love rereading them. I just reread these two, and I was glued to each one of them. Books 2 and 3 in the New Jedi Order series, Dark Tide, Onslaught, and Ruin. Oh, they get big recommendations for me. They're dialing up the tension in this New Jedi Order series, which has 19 books total in the series. Dialing up the tension, making the characters great, making you feel like you're in Star Wars. You gotta get this series. You gotta go read the Legends. If you got a bad taste in your mouth from any of the recent Star Wars movies, this'll wipe it out. I give these books 9 out of 10.